Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you how to build a simple and effective slime farm in survival Minecraft. This idea was tweeted to me by Commander Alien and it showed a brilliantly clever and effective way to exploit slime behaviour to create a relatively cheap slime farm. Judging from the picture alone you may be able to figure this one out for yourself, but if not I'll explain in this video. So slimes will target the iron golem as a hostile mob and head towards them. Because slimes are stupid, they will jump right into the cactus, which deals them damage and splits them until they die, at which point their items are collected in the hoppers below the cactus. From that explanation alone, some of you will know exactly what you need to do, but for those of you who don't, I'm going to show you how to find the slime chunks in your world and build the farm. And before we get into that, I do want to address one inefficiency. On occasion the slime balls will drop onto the cactus. The chance of this is generally low, but it does happen, and considering this is a passive farm where you don't have to do anything once it's built, I'd say it's a fair compromise. So first off we need to find a slime chunk in your world, and I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. This first one you could consider slightly cheaty, and it uses an external program called Mist. This is the program right here. There'll be a link to it in the description box to download, and what you want to do is go to File, New, and then go to Seed and type in the seed of your world. You can get this by typing in /seed, and if you're on a server and you don't have permission to do that, you're going to have to ask the owner of the server if you can have permission to have the seed. But when you do so, it will bring up the world like this, and then you'll be able to look around and see where the slime chunks are. Now at the moment, I've got that selected, so what you need to do is go to Map, Layers, and make sure you've selected slime chunks. That's Control 2, so that will toggle the visibility of those purple chunks right there. So what you want to do is pick the area that's near to you, find a slime chunk, the one that you want to go build your farm in, and then you want to zoom in and put your mouse cursor over one of the blocks like this. Then in the top right corner you can see the exact coordinates for where you're pointing at. So make sure that your cursor is exactly inside the chunk you want to make your farm in. Write down those coordinates, double check that your cursor is inside this area, but once you've got the coordinates then we need to go into the Minecraft world. So we're here in the world. I've teleported over to the coordinates we found in Mist, and of course I'm using creative mode. You'd have to dig your way over here, which you can do by pressing F3 to bring up the coordinates screen. Now notice that I'm down at Y12. The reason that I've come down here is because when you're doing some digging to clear out the area for your farm, there's a good chance of finding some diamonds or redstone down at this level. But also the slimes can spawn down here all the way up to Y40. So if you're going to start building a farm, maybe in the future you'd want to upgrade it to a bigger design, then you can dig upwards from where you are rather than downwards. So that's the reason why I think it's a good idea to come down the bottom here. There's also a chance of running into lava lakes, which might make things a little bit tricky, so consider that as well. But below the XYZ coordinates on the F3 screen, 2 lines down you can see one called chunk. We're going to be using this to figure out where the chunk is, and it's pretty simple. Once you're at those coordinates you found using Mist, you just need to pay attention to the numbers in chunks. As we move around they are going to change. The numbers we're looking at are currently 1 and 5, so that's the first and third numbers, and as we move around they change. So what we want to do is find 0 and 15. So this is one edge of the chunk. That means when we go over here we're now in a chunk that could not be or may not be the slime chunk that we found in our program. So that's how you tell that you're on the edge of the chunk. So now we've got to go over this way all the way up to Y15, and then we'll be at the other edge. So let's just go all the way over here. And that was 1 over, so when it changes from 15 to 0 you're now outside of that chunk. So fill that back in, and from that side to over there is from one side to the other side of the chunk. And then if we do that in the opposite direction you can see that we've got to go this way a little bit, all the way up to 15, and then in the opposite direction all the way down to 0. So once you've done that and you've figured out the sides of your chunk, what you'll then need to do is to clear out this entire area in a giant square. So I've dug out the room. It's not terribly exciting, but this is what it looks like once you've cleared it out. A lot of digging, I know, but this room needs to be about 5 blocks tall, as you can see here, and the reason why is so the big slimes can jump up and down and move quite freely. You can get away with it being 4 tall, but it's probably better just to give them a little bit more room to jump up and down, as that's how they're going to move towards the iron golem. And we're going to build this thing in the middle of the room. The reason why is because these slimes can track the iron golem from 16 blocks away, so the chunk itself is 16 by 16, and that means wherever it spawns within the room, if the iron golem's in the middle it's going to see it and then it's going to go for it. So before I show you how to build this, I did say that I would show you another way to find slimes in your world, and you're not going to like this. It's not a clever or simple trick. It's quite tedious. It's the way you would find it without an external program, and that is to explore the world and try and find where slimes are spawning naturally. And this is no easy task, and it's something that I've done before, and it's why I now use programs like Mist, because it saves a lot of time. But you would literally need to explore the world until you saw a slime spawn somewhere, and then when you did see them spawn, you'd need to hollow out the chunks around them like this, and it would be a case of simply exploring the world, coming back and forth, looking for slimes, and then seeing where they're spawning. So eventually you'd probably find a chunk where they continually spawn in, and that would be evidence that you found a slime chunk. But it is a hard and tedious way to do things. If you choose to do so, it will probably take you a long time. So be prepared if you're going to do that. But otherwise, I'm now going to show you how to build the slime farm. So to build this contraption, you're going to need the contents of this chest, and you want to pick the middle of the room, or roughly where you think it is. Doesn't have to be exact. And then place down the sand like that and remove the blocks around it. This is where the hoppers are going to go. You're also going to need to put down a chest for the hoppers to point into, so make sure that they are all actually pointing into the chest over there, so all of the slimes will make their way into it. And then we want to put 3 pieces of cactus on top of this, and then put a half slab on top of the last bit of cactus, and this is where the height of the room comes in useful. If you just face upwards and place a ring of fence posts around it like this, then they're going to be in the correct position, which is just 1 block above where the half slab is. Now what we need to do is dig up here, so we need to go up by 3 blocks so we can go over the fence and just clear out this little bit of room on the inside here, and then we're going to spawn the iron golem in this space. So you need to do this above the fence posts, so we're going to put a block there temporarily. If we then remove, which we can't do because everything's connecting to it, there we go. So you want your first block to be right there, then 3 blocks going across, and the reason we're not doing this one lower is because the fence posts will be in the way, so there needs to be air blocks either side of the iron. But then you can put your pumpkin down like that. This guy's going to drop into the correct place, and then you've actually built the farm. So whenever a slime spawns in here, if we watch this guy, he's not going to track me because I'm in game mode 1. He tracks the iron golem, he can't attack the iron golem, and he rubs himself up and down against the cactus, which isn't a good idea. Another thing I'd like to mention here is that you may be considering putting down a few more hoppers around the outside to collect the slime balls. Well, from my observations, I've never seen the slimes drop outside of that initial ring. So it's something you may want to do if you're concerned, but I think you'll be just fine with having the 8 default hoppers. So that is it from me, this Minecraft tutorial. If you have enjoyed it or found the video useful, please do consider leaving a like, and a huge thanks to Commander Alien for sharing this design with the Minecraft community. You can find a link to their tweet down there in the description box if you feel like going over there, saying hello and sharing some love for this awesome design right here. There is one last thing that I have to say. Remember, this is a hostile mob farm. It's based on the environment that it's in. So as you can see, I've removed lots of the caves in the surrounding area, which is why the rates were so good down there. And of course, right now I'm in game mode 3, so it's not quite the same. But as I said, that is it from me this video. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.